Hi, it's Larry Gaines, Paracycle Trading. Well, we're in a really interesting market here. And today what I'm going to show you is the dynamics between the broad market, say the Nasdaq we're going to look at, and then we're going to look at the various correlations as to the 30-year bond and 10-year bond to show you a couple of interesting points. But first off, you can see here from the daily chart of the Nasdaq 100, and this is using my system, my model, Paracycle Trading model. The momentum is shifted. We still have possible momentum. You know, it's just barely hanging in there on the daily. So we have possible cycle 1, 2. We have this trend line from this pivot low extension here, here, and here. So we have this little trend line in. We're in a compression squeeze, so it's a consolidation phase here. We have the parabolic SARs, which is a trend indicator showing prices in an uptrend. So it's barely hanging in, and we've got a compression squeeze, which potentially could break to the upside based on our cycle model momentum to the upside. But you can see that we've had a pretty big pullback also this week. Now, you know what I want to show you next is the bond market and show you how that's had an effect on the equity markets. Now, one more quick point though to make before we move on. This is also the Nasdaq on a weekly or long-term chart. So it's also in a squeeze on the weekly. So something big's going to happen. So it's going to either squeeze, trigger to the downside on the weekly or upside. So on the weekly, the indicators are showing a shift to the downside on momentum, but momentum has come back up. So right now the direction on the daily is potential break to the upside. Weekly still showing potential break to the downside. Now if you look at the weekly, this is a 21 EMA. We've been in an uptrend ever since December 2012. It's held this weekly trend, this weekly EMA moving average, exponential moving average. We did have a close below it for 2 weeks in April, and now it's closed back above. But you know, it's sitting there, so it's in a really precarious spot that it really needs to hold this area 35.32. Now this is a 30-year Treasury bond, and it's been in a nice uptrend. It really kind of started right here back in March. Actually the first of the year. You can see the parabolic SAR, steady uptrend to the upside on the weekly time frame. Nice momentum to the upside on cycle 1, cycle 2 on the weekly, but we're coming into good resistance here. So what we've seen lately is we've seen a rotation into bonds, the 30-year and also the 10-year, and then that money has to come from someplace else. So a lot of it has come out of the equities, primarily the Nasdaq 100 and the Russell 2000. So on the 30-year, nice trend up. Also on the 10-year, let me show you. Now here's the 10-year on a weekly, long-term time frame. It's also coming in some major resistance. So you know, what we could possibly see is a little bit of a pullback in bonds because of this resistance it's coming into, and then see it consolidate and take a next leg up. So if that does happen, then you can see a weekly squeeze going on here on the 10-year. Then it potentially could break out hard, and then its next target would be up here to 128. So a lot of interesting dynamics going on right now. If you look at the bonds, the direction of this break is to the upside. If you look at the Nasdaq, let me show you that. Looks like the direction potentially to the break there, based on my indicators, is to the downside. So here's the squeeze on the Nasdaq. Indicators momentum to the downside. So if that happens, you're going to have this correlation where bonds move higher, which means interest rates go down, stocks go lower. So interesting dynamic there. Keep an eye on it. And let me show you one more thing. Now, markets like symmetry, it's amazing. I guess it's a psychological aspect of trading based on human nature, but I like to look at symmetrical moves, and the market likes to look at symmetrical moves. So if you take an extension, here's using Fibonacci extension tools, and you go from this prior low back in September of 2013 right here to this high in October 21st, you take that measured move there and calculate it, or take it down to this last pivot low right here, which came on March 2014. You're going to see that we just hit this week the 100% target from this low to this high, this exact measured move from here to there. So that's one target zone. That's why I believe that potentially we could get a little bit of a pullback, because we are a little bit overextended on bonds. Now the second point too is then take this low on the 30th of December, take that measured move, to the high on the 3rd of February, and then go back to this pivot low back in March. And you can see that the measured move, this distance from here to here, we just hit it again. So this is some good resistance area here, and potentially when we get in these kind of situations where a measured move has been hit and you're overextended, way overextended from your moving averages, you have that reversion to the mean. So I guess the point being made here is it's not a great place to be buying bonds. It's more, if you're long bonds, this is a good place to take some profits, and this potentially could impact the equity markets, which if bonds pull back a little bit, you can see the equity markets stabilize. So I hope that helps. Talk to you on the next update. And now one more thing, if you'd like to join, I've got a power cycle, we call it the Power Trading Club, and it's an interactive club that you can join me in my trading room each and every day for live trading. You also receive all my daily market update videos for day trading and swing trading. You'll get alerts for potential trade setups, breakouts, and trend reversals. We have a weekly question and answer period with me. That's every Tuesday. So it's an hour, 15 hour, 20 minutes. Great session there. And then you get discounts on all my course programs and all my indicators and tools. So it's $7 for the first 30-day trial, and then $97 after that. If you have an interest, just go to put in powercycletrading.com/club or use the link on this email. Hope this helps. Talk to you on the next update. Bye.